about Jacob's father. Now, his mother had died. His mother's now died. He's the son of his father's old age. His mother's gone, his father's beloved wife. And here his father leads a home with a spirit of passiveness. And so he just allows everybody to do what they do in the home. He does what he does, and he allows them to do what they do. And so there are no rules, there's no regulations, there are no structures, there are no boundaries. I want to tell somebody right now, make sure you have boundaries in your home. Make sure you have boundaries in your relationship. Make sure you have standards. This is the rule in my house. These are the boundary lines not to cross. Okay, I'm going to come to your house. I'm going to visit your house. And I'm going to say, hello, Al. And I think you're going to let me in, right? So you're going to let me in. I'm going to come in. I'm going to walk right past you. I'm going to go to the refrigerator. I'm going to see what's in there. You know, I'm just saying. Is that all right? Okay, it's okay. So I'm going to go to Tim's house, and I'm going to knock on the door, and Tim's going to say, wow, I'm surprised to see you. Tim, it's okay. As a pastor, it's my job to be an inspector. So I'm going to walk right past everybody. I'm going to find out where your master bedroom is. I'm going in, and I'm going through your drawer. I mean, I am a pastor, and I think pastors can, what do y'all think? Okay, so there's boundaries. There's boundaries. And I want you to know that Jacob, Joseph's father, he put zero boundaries in place. So he allows his son to be a product of a dark, empty home. No boundaries. Okay, so now what happened? And we don't have children's church today, so I'm trying to condense the story. If we had to rate this story, it would be at least PG-13, if not R-rated. And so that's the life of Joseph and Jacob. That's the type of family that they are. This is not G-rated family history here. But that was a moment when something happened to one of his daughters. Something happened to one of his daughters at the hand of some brutal individuals. And so the brother said, who do you think you are that you can hurt my sister? And so the brother said, it's time for some get back. And so they load up, if you will, and they go and they hurt everyone for once and for all. That's the clean version of the story. So they absolutely decimate the ones who harmed their sister. Well, you know what Jacob did? Jacob said, listen, I understand that you were hurt. I understand that you felt like you should lash out. But God is our protector. That God is the one who produces vengeance. That God is sovereign. No, he didn't say anything. So then another one of his sons, Reuben, begins, because Jacob during this time, he had multiple wives. And so one of his sons had a special relationship with one of his wives. Well, surely you know he put him out of the house. Am I right or wrong? You know, I mean, put him out of the house head first. Am I right or wrong? Well, he didn't say anything. And so we find Joseph growing up in a home where there are no holds barred, where there are absolutely no boundaries, where there's absolutely no respect for others, where there's absolutely no ownership for when you do wrong, where there's absolutely no integrity of saying, I'm going to behave the right way even when no one is looking. I mean, can you imagine growing up in an environment like that? Maybe someone here has grown up in an environment like that. Maybe someone here is a parent and you may not know it, but we could possibly, dare I say, be creating that type of environment. Because where there's no structure, where there are no boundaries, really, there's no home. Luther Vandross, anybody heard of him? Okay, he sang this song, and I'm definitely not going to sing it, okay? But he sings this song, and he says, a chair is still a chair, even when no one's sitting there. But then he goes on to say, But a house is not a home when there's no one there to love you and to hold you and all that good stuff. And then in the next verse, he says, a room is still a room, even when no one's there. That the room will always be a room. Whether someone is in the room or not in the room will always be a room. And then he goes on to say in the verse, but a house is not a home if there's no one there to say that they love you. Does anybody agree with that? And in that, amen. Thank y'all for applauding my singing. Thank you. And in the last verse, he says, I don't want to live alone. I cannot live alone. And I want you to know that God has placed each of us in a home. Do you know that the womb of our mother was our first home? Do you know you lived there for 9 months? Some 8 months. Somebody help me out right back there, please? Some of y'all lived 8 months in that home. Some of y'all lived 9 months. And some babies lived 4 months, lived 5 months, short period of time. But you still lived in that home a long period of time. And that was your home. We are people that cradle a home. And so I challenge you today to build your marriages up. And that's a message from me and a message from my wife. To build your marriage up so it doesn't become a chair in a room, but it becomes a house that's a home. I challenge you to build your children up so that they don't become the fifth bedroom, but they become a house that's now a home. I challenge you to build up your network of friends so that it's just not some abstract, innate object with no feelings. Your friends hurt. They care. And so if we will work on respecting others, taking ownership for our behavior, and operating with integrity, we can make sure that Joseph doesn't grow up in an empty home. So he grows up in an empty home. His father